see if we can take an inequality and write a real world situation that goes with it. So our left side of our inequality looks like this. So our slope or rate of change is going to be 11.25. So we need something that increases, that's a positive slope, increases by 11.25. And then minus 20 is our initial amount. So initial amount, oof, golly, cannot spell. Initial, yeah, initial amount of negative 20. Okay. And then other side looks like this. So 10.75x minus 12.5. So this is going to be increases because again it is a positive slope, so increases by 10.75, and then initial amount of negative 12.5, and the symbol here in the middle is a greater than or equal to, so we want to say when is the left side greater than or equal to right side. So greater than or equal to is a weird phrase to put into a word problem. It's kind of an awkward phrase, but greater than or equal to, another way that you can say that in like sort of normal English is at least. At least means your amount or higher. So if like you made a 90 on a test and I said, "Oh, the person next to you made at least that grade," that means the person next to you made at least a 90, meaning they got 90 or higher, greater than or equal to a 90. So at least is sort of a more concise way of saying greater than or equal to. So we'll probably use at least in our sentence. Okay, so we want the left side to say it increases by 11.25, but we have an initial amount of negative 20. And then the other one's going to say something similar, increases by 1075, and an initial amount of negative 12.5. So anytime there's a decimal, of course, my immediate thought is money. So 1125 and 1075, I'm thinking like maybe that's the amount of money they make per hour. So like X equals hours, and then like Y equals money. So like one guy makes 1125 an hour and one guy makes 1075 an hour. Seems reasonable. But why would guy number one have minus 20 and guy number two would have minus 1250? So let's see, maybe it's like how much it costs them to get to their job. So like maybe they have to Uber to their job, for example. So they live like guy number one lives farther away, so it costs him more to Uber to his job. So let's go with that. So let's say guy number one, let's call him Frank. Frank makes 1125 per hour at work and pays $20 for an Uber to get to his job. There we go. And then Dawn makes 1075 per hour per hours and pays 1250 to get to her job. When, oops, When is Frank's, let's see, I want to say like the amount of money he makes. So let's say when is Frank's profit for the day, not for the day, for the day, at least as much as Dawn's. You know what? I don't like that sentence because when, I don't like when because our variable was hours. Let me say after, golly, I cannot spell today. After how many hours is Frank's profit for the day at least as much as Don's? Okay, there we go. So we got guy number one makes 11.25, but it costs him 20, so that's the minus 20. Girl number two makes 10.75 an hour, but it costs her 12.50, so that's the minus 12.5. And then the question, the way we incorporate the greater than or equal to is how long does guy number one have to work before he's making, after paying to get to work, where he's making at least as much as person number two is. There we go. So we've turned our inequality into a real world situation.